On the news this morning, work resumes nationwide after Salah holiday. Police rescue 2 abducted Bethel Baptist School students. Gunmen abduct mother of Bayelsa SSG. Chief of Defense Staff General Loki Rabo to visit Owerri today. On the foreign scene, Argentina unveils new national identity system for people who identify as non-binary. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Workers are expected back to work across the country this morning after a 2-day break. The federal government announced Tuesday and Wednesday as public holidays to allow Muslims celebrate the Eid al-Kabir. The deputy imam of Oner Mosque in Rivers State, Akintayo Abdul Quadri, says the high cost of ram marred this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. Abdul Quadri spoke to Nigeria Info.
Festival that is highly celebrated, but for now the economic really affected it because the prices of the ram is on the higher side or higher price. So that those that slaughtered ram last year, so we were unable to do so this year. So, but notwithstanding, since it is the promise of Almighty Allah, so we were able to manage to slaughter ram in order to sacrifice for Almighty Allah.
Also, some meat sellers in Rumokoro Market in Port Harcourt complained of low patronage.
Market, they are seeing support today. People now no get money, they no come buy as then they buy before. Last year market, better part this year. Yesterday we just sit down, they look. No market, everybody just they complain, say money no day. Finna before, everybody go they happy, they buy market, they sell. But the market, they are seeing support today. As everything don't put money. Ram don't put money, cow don't put money, rice don't put money, not away no put money, make government help us.
Cow would they buy 450, 500, would they buy 350, 300? At least we will go sell out.
Normally now, market, everything for market increase. Even yesterday, we don't have enough customers. Yesterday, many of our customers here, they carry them in go Kuru because they no come market due to lack of customers that yesterday.
Our correspondent reports that there was a low turnout at fun spots. Away from that, 2 of the abducted students of Bethel Baptist Secondary School in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State have been rescued by police operatives. They were rescued on Wednesday evening by police operatives in Rijana area along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. The Kaduna State Police Command spokesman Mohammed Jalinge told Channels Television that the 2 abducted students have been taken to a police medical facility where they are currently undergoing medical examination. Recall that 121 students of Bethel Baptist Secondary School in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State were abducted from their hostels by bandits on July 8. Last week, the police rescued one of the students inside a forest, thereby bringing the number of those rescued to 3. Meanwhile, the bandits are demanding 60 million naira as ransom for the release of the kidnapped students. Unknown gunmen have abducted the mother of the secretary to the Bayelsa State government, Bettina Benson. The abductors, who were reportedly dressed in military uniform, took the victim from her residence in the old assembly quarters, Yenegua, on Tuesday night, July 20. The State Police Command says it will be releasing a statement concerning the matter soon. A pastor, Soje Masoje, who was accused of being responsible for the death of one beauty in Wigbarani, has urged her father to stop harassing him with men of the Nigerian army. The pastor, through his lawyer David Abuo, claimed that despite being aware that the police freed him since he has no connection with the death of the girl, the late girl's father employed the services of military men to invade his church premises.
The father of the beauty has been harassing the bishop. He leads men to the church, soldiers to the church, to harass the bishop. Even after the matter had been reported to the military investigated it to an extent and transferred him to the police, and the police investigated it and gave him a clean bill. And after that, he's been leading people to the church, soldiers and unknown persons to the church, to harass the man, to stop him from carrying on services on the very flimsy, frivolous, and unproven allegations of the man being the killer of the girl.
Mr. Abwo said his client has instructed him to approach the court if the father of the late girl, including the military men, fails to render an apology and pay the sum of 500 million naira after several days of the receipt of his petition.
Indeed, we have written to the military establishment, copying the police and telling them that we want them to put a stop to the harassment, otherwise we will go to court. But since we serve the military and the police and the rest, the man has not stopped the harassment.
He hasn't stopped.
He has not stopped. He continues the harassment. That is why we are compelled to come out to shout. We are asking for the protection and the safety of the bishop.
Responding, lawyer attached to Federation of International Women Lawyers FIDA in Rivers State, Sophia Opia, who has been following up the matter for the family, said the police has not concluded investigation on the matter.
I'm not alleging anything, but him saying the family has been harassing him, I don't think that's correct, because I even had to question the family members and they were like, they don't even have a working contact of his. The father of the child that has been deceased doesn't even have a proper home address of this man, and you're saying he's harassing. He hasn't even seen you since the last time you people went to the CP's office for interview. That was far back in January. He has not been able to make contact with anybody. Even the suit he filed in court, he didn't even come to court to answer to that.
The FIDA lawyer also questioned the pastor's decision to obtain a restraining order against security agencies if his claims are true that the police investigation absolved him of having a hand in the death of the girl.
Go to court to file a restraining order. If he has been discharged by the police, then why does he need to go to court to now apply to court, getting an order of court to refrain the police from making any arrest whatsoever? To the best of my knowledge, that's not the case, because I'm in constant communication with the IPO in charge of this matter, and he keeps saying we should aid them to get this man. At least let him come to them and let them interview him. You're innocent, that's fine. Why don't you just prove to the world that you're innocent by coming and then letting everybody know that I am innocent? Allow the police to do their investigations properly.
Recall that late Beauty Nwigbarani, a final year student, was declared missing on the 25th of December 2020, but her body was later found in a mortuary at Aoda after she was reported to have been involved in a fatal accident on the east-west road axis of Rumuji. The family accused the pastor of being responsible for her death, as they claimed their daughter was visiting the pastor when she went missing. The Chief Executive Officer of Lviv Travels, Keto Bisong, has denied claims that he defrauded the brother-in-law of one of his former staff in the guise of processing a Canadian visa. Recall that the CEO had accused his former staff Evans Boma of defrauding the company of 200,000 naira, an allegation Mr. Boma denied, saying the 200,000 naira he took was part of the money the CEO of Lviv Travels was owing him. But Mr. Bisong, in an interview, said the money he took to process the Canadian visa for Mr. Boma's brother-in-law was for service charge, and that the brother-in-law did not meet up with the required documents for the visa.
The father-in-law consulted me and gave me 150,000 naira as a service charge. 1 month later, the father-in-law told me that he was no longer interested in the process, that I should refund the money. Only for Boma to go to my office in Elekaya and collected 5 international passports belonging to 5 different applicants who were processing visa for them at that time. I had no option than to pay that money back to the father-in-law. That was when Boma returned those passports. And the fake documents he claimed that would give the brother-in-law from the Canada embassy is Canada visa application form.
Mr. Besong accused Mr. Boma of threatening his family and called the attention of security agencies in the state to the situation.
When Boma heard this matter on air, what he did was to resort to begin to send a video to my wife threatening and sending a description how unknown person can get to my house. As we speak now, I have to move my family away from the house in order to be in safe hands. So I want the security agencies to take note of what the guy has sent, a circulated video describing how unknown person can get to my house and harm my family. This video was sent to my wife directly.
However, former staff of Lviv Travels, Evans Boma, has denied the allegations and has vowed to take the matter to court.
The 200,000 he's talking about is part of the money that is owing me. The Canadian visa he's talking about where I resigned. I have been interacting with clients. So even when I left, they have been communicating with me. The last client, that started with me last month. I gave him the office address that he should go there after explaining the process to him. I was surprised that he had to tell the client that I am fraudulent. He went to Lagos, collected 300,000 from my father-in-law, and gave my wife's younger brother fake documents since 2017. The boy has not traveled, and he did not refund the money. So he is calling me a fraud. Meanwhile, he has defrauded my own family.
National Union of Road Transport Workers Tricycle Section in River State has called on the general public to disregard a letter purportedly dissolving and reconstituting unit executives of the union in the state. State Treasurer of the union, Felix Brown, said the letter was not issued by the leadership of the union headed by Mr. Frank Nadi. He urged members of the union to disregard the letter and go about their normal duties.
That letter doesn't come from our state council. Our state council is being chaired by Chief Frank Nadi. He is the sole authority. He is the chairman that has all the power to issue as authority. And we are advising all our unit chairmen to go about their normal businesses. That as a state council of the union tricycle section, we have not authorized anybody to start distributing letters. Neither is any of our unit being dissolved. They think they can come into the tricycle section that is in peace to disorganize our segment. And we are not saying no. The segment of the national union, which is the tricycle section, is intact.
Also, State Secretary of NURTW Tricycle Section urged members to be calm as the issue has been resolved by the union.
They should discard those letters and term it as fake. They should go about their normal businesses. They should remain calm. What we are going to do, we are going to invite our units, just like we are passing this information, and tell them to remain calm. If it has to do with police case, maybe if it gets to the stage whereby we have to go to the station, then we'll make ourselves available.
The management of the Eastern District of Nigeria Railway Corporation has suspended the planned 100% increase of train fare from Port Harcourt to Abia State. Recall that 2 weeks ago, rail passengers in River State protested the planned increase and called for its suspension. But confirming the suspension of the transport fare, spokesman of the Port Harcourt Depot Station, Samuel Adoyebi, told correspondent Sebiru Wari that the suspension is due to planned renovation works on the coaches.
We want to put our coaches in good shape. I want to put the coaches like this. I want the system to be first class apartment also. We want the AC to work in drivers. Now you pay for the first class. You get the AC. And why bought it? So you have it that whereby you start and go in and come out. Why bought it and why they are lighting? We want everything to be in good shape. So to give our customers and qualitative services. It's the work they are paying for. You actually know quality. We don't want any situation whereby like the price is something and people will be crying.
Mr. Adoyebi said the management is working to ensure that customers get ultimate satisfaction in the service they provide. The 34 Artillery Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Obinze Owerri, says all is set for the visit of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, today. The Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations of the Brigade, Lieutenant Babatunde Zubairu, in a statement, said the Chief of Defense Staff will be holding a security meeting with retired senior military officers in the Southeast geopolitical zone. A report says the Republic of Benin has resisted Nigeria's attempt to extradite the Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, to Abuja. The Punch reports that a security source in the West African country said the planned extradition by the Nigerian government did not happen on Wednesday, as the Beninese government said the rule of law must be followed. They also say Igboho's legal team in Benin Republic are in talks with the Beninese government. Meanwhile, armed policemen on Wednesday dispersed protesters on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, calling for his release. Still ahead, Nigerian Guild of Editors describes NBC directive as subtle threat to press freedom. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
The Nigerian Guild of Editors has expressed concern over the recent directive by the National Broadcasting Commission warning journalists, television and radio stations in Nigeria against glamorizing and giving too many details on the activities of terrorists and kidnappers during newspaper reviews. In a statement, the body of editors said Nigerian journalists have a responsibility to help Nigeria cope with the heightened insecurity and continue to be responsible and responsive in their reports. While describing the NBC's directive as a subtle threat to free press, the NGE hopes it is not a ploy by the NBC to ban newspaper reviews in broadcast stations, as the content of the directive did not specify the sanction that will fall within their realm. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has called on Nigerians to adhere to the public health measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19. At a media interview in Abuja, NCDC's Director of Prevention Program and Knowledge Management, Dr. Chinwe Ochu, said with the detection of the Delta variant in Nigeria, there is urgent need for collective responsibility to prevent its spread.
It is still very, very important that we adhere to these preventive measures of wearing our face masks in public places, washing our hands frequently with soap and water. It is this preventive measure that can prevent a third wave of the virus, because even if that strain is in the country and everybody is complying, the risk of spread of that variant will be very minimal, and we can prevent a third wave. But where everybody relaxes and begins to indulge in risky behavior, then the chances that this variant could spread in the country will be very high.
Dr. Oche emphasized that Nigeria is currently not prepared for a third wave of COVID-19. Meanwhile, a report released on Tuesday by World Bank experts at the Imperial College of London shows that between March 2020 and July 2021, an estimated 4,000 children in Nigeria were orphaned as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. As of July 2021, Nigeria had recorded about 2,128 COVID-19 deaths, which suggested that for every one death in the country, an average of 2 children became orphans.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Argentina has unveiled a new national identity system for people who identify as non-binary. Under national law, Argentinians have the right to identify themselves as gender neutral, but this has not been reflected in passports and national documents of identity, and residents have only been able to select male or female. To change this, anyone applying for a new ID document can now select X for their gender. Argentina is the first Latin American country to adopt this new system, following a decree by President Alberto Fernandez. On the news this morning, you heard that work resumes nationwide after Salah holiday. The police rescued 2 abducted Bethel Baptist School students. Gunmen have abducted the mother of Bayelsa SSG. Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo is set to visit Owerri today. News editors have described the NBC directive as a subtle threat to press freedom. Management of Eastern District of Nigeria Railway Corporation has suspended the planned 100% increment of train fare in Port Harcourt to Abia State. On the foreign scene, you heard that Argentina has unveiled new national identity system for people who identify as non-binary. The news was edited by Enoho Ogbevere. Contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this morning. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Good morning and thank you for your time. Have a great day.